Shareholders of the energy giant Shell have gathered in London to hear just how much money they'll be making this year. And let me tell you, it's a lot. The company made record profits of £32 billion last year, but before the shareholders and business school execs got to do their best Scrooge McDuck impressions, diving into their hoards of cash, this happened.
Shell must fall! Shut down Shell! Shut down Shell! Shut down Shell! Shut down Shell! Shut down!
As climate protesters stormed the stage, things only escalated. Bedlam! You could see Shell chairman Andrew Mackenzie there looking like he was going to make a run for it. But that wasn't the only disruption that took place.
We know that you knew about climate change. Now you're making money off the war in Ukraine. We can't afford to heat our homes, and you're still getting big tax rates. Go to hell, Shell! Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Go to hell, Shell! Don't you come back no more.
I love it. Bang that up on Spotify. I'll be listening to that on my commute. Joining in on the action were also ordinary people standing up against the energy giant.
Wildfires across Europe, famines in Madagascar, harvest failure, crop failure. You're fueling climate collapse. People are already impacted catastrophically by the effects of climate breakdown. We will not allow this to happen. We are calling you out. We're shutting you down. Shut down Shell. Shut down Shell. Shut down Shell. Shut down Shell. You're killing millions. Because of your actions, millions will die. Because of your actions, millions will die. You are killing the planet. You're killing our children.
Like, you want to make your way up?
No. Shut down Shell. Shut down Shell.
With every new well, every new gas field, every minute that you ignore the warning to science, people die.
Fantastic. There's a reason people are so angry, of course. First, Shell's board has refused, even in the face of shareholder demands, to set more ambitious targets for emissions by 2030. But it's not enough that they're killing us and, more importantly, our descendants. Shell is ripping us off too. Despite that £32 billion windfall last year, Shell only pays 22 pence in tax per UK citizen. That's less than they pay in almost every other country that they operate in. The Shell meeting wasn't the only place that we saw direct action today around climate. Nearby on Blackfriars Bridge in London, this happened.
You're fucking insulting. GTO for 6 on active will get you locked. Is that fine? Get off the back! Get off the back! Get off my truck! Yeah, really, man.
Let me just explain what's happening there quickly. A young man tried to engage in some vigilante justice and the police stopped him. Naturally, right-wingers are, of course, losing their minds. Nick Timothy is a contributing editor to The Telegraph, as well as being a former advisor to Theresa May when she was Prime Minister. He said this: arrested by the police for doing the police's job. Amazing to think that Timothy believes it's the police's job to assault people. It's important to say the police have since said that nobody was arrested, so a bit of fake news from Mr. Timothy there. That seems like an understandable judgment, by the way, from the police, I should add. A person got hot-headed. They tried vigilante justice. The police then cuffed them and told them to pack it in. And I thought these people believed in the idea of policing as deterrent, but apparently not.
In 2018, Shell spent 55 million on climate branding. That is, they spent 55 million trying to persuade all of us that they were green, while in the preceding years, they'd spent just 1% of their long-term investment budget on investment in green energy projects. This is a company that has no serious plans to reduce its oil and gas exploration by 2030, when the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says we need urgent action. It's a company that is alone responsible for over 1.5% of long-term emissions over the next years, just one company. So it's doing enormous damage. And it's got no interest in really mitigating that damage. It's only interested in greenwashing, in propaganda that tells us all how much they care about climate change with nice posters, while destroying the planet. And of course, we have a government in Britain, a former Prime Minister, Liz Truss, used to work for Shell. We have a government that is so entangled with oil and gas donations that they continue to license new projects while the planet is destroyed. So you literally have a situation where people's pockets are being lined, where people's bank accounts are going ka-ching, while other people drown, while other people face drought, while other people face increasingly uninhabitable conditions. That is, millions of people will have to move over the coming years because the parts of the world they live in will cease to be inhabitable for human beings. And why are we doing all that? It's not to fight a war. It's not because we desperately need to make the world uninhabitable. It's just to line the pockets of a few oil and gas executives. That's what's at stake in the fight against Shell. So isn't it so telling that the right wants to make heroes of people who march into the street to beat up protesters who are just trying to save us and our children and our grandchildren, forget our grandchildren, us right now, from catastrophic climate change? The police, meanwhile, use new powers gifted to them by the Conservative government with the support of the Labour Party to attack protesters. And those new powers were explicitly listed as being given in order to stop climate protest. So here's the Kafkaesque or the Orwellian or just the bizarre situation of contemporary Britain. Climate-destroying companies bash the planet, cause the world to be uninhabitable in large swathes, cause floods and droughts. Politicians take donations from those companies and ensure that laws protect them. Then those same politicians pass laws to attack protesters who try to stop it all from happening, and then right-wing commentators support vigilantes who attack those protesters. It's kind of like a death drive, isn't it?
It is a death drive, but it's particularly acute with regards to future generations. So you said there, forget future generations, but millions of people, in our own lifetime will die as a result of climate change. That's inarguable. But we do, in these debates, discount the future in the name of the present, which is to say that the utility or the happiness of a single person in 2023 matters more than a single person in 2123. We discount the happiness and the survival of people decades and centuries from now. Now, clearly, if you were having a sensible debate about how to maintain our planet's ecosystems, you wouldn't do that. But it seems quite obvious to me that we say, well, I have a right to drive to work unimpeded, and that matters more than the fact that hundreds of millions of people won't be able to access food 50 years from now because of the decisions we're making here in 2023. There's an active discounting for the future. And I think for any sensible, moral, principled person, look, they might not agree with the protesters, right? They might not defend them, but they can certainly explain them. They can certainly understand them. They certainly wouldn't go and assault them on the streets.